And I believe there was, yeah, I did some rotation. Sorry, I'm reading off of a list of the steps that I took earlier. That way I could actually give you the correct thing that I had done. So with this, I did 50 rotation max, minimum was 0. Again, I want to make sure that it's processed during spawn, not during update. And I didn't change the rate. Okay, next step. And this is actually for this specific thing, probably the most important one, is we need an attractor. Because right now it just, like, if you look at it, it looks like a ball. I mean, you can clearly see it's a sphere. And we're going to set this to a point attractor, which is, it's kind of what we want, but not exactly what we want. So the position did not change. We're going to set the range to 100. Hey, James! Not much. I'm just setting up the initial stuff right now, really. Well, a little bit, but yeah, it's okay. I forgive you, James. I forgive you. And we're going to set the strength to 1,000 so it has a pretty strong pull. You can kind of see it's already starting to change their behavior a little bit. And then finally, we need, where are you? There we are. Location sphere. And we're going to set the start radius on this sphere, or the sphere radius, to 0.1. And the velocity scale, we're going to set to 20. And I'm actually going to, it seems like the size of these is a little low, so I'm going to change the size just a bit so we can actually see the swarm. Okay, so yeah, that's a good point, IRTech. James, basically most of this is just making it do what I want. The most important thing for the particle system that we're doing, which is I'm making a swarm of bees. So the most important thing is that you get the mesh data and you set that to a plane. And what that's going to do is it allows you to change the camera facing of the planes, which are a lot easier to interact with than other objects, so that you can make it to where it actually will follow the camera and orient itself accordingly. That way you're actually looking at, you know, like they're actually rotating. It's not just all the images just sitting face up, which actually I can show you what that looks like. Hold on, let me delete that. Set this to B material, and I'm going to set this to 111. I'll set it to 10, 10, 10, whatever. Oh, it's not going to let me. Okay. It's being a butt. Okay. So that is all we need for our particle system. And I'll go ahead and run through this one more time just to make sure everyone caught it. I'm probably not going to go through all the specifics of why I did certain things, but these are the steps that I took to make my bee particle system. So first, made the texture, which is just a simple bee texture that we have occluded out the white background by using the blue channel, which is specific for this texture. Multiplied it by 0.1 into the emissive color, that way it's a bit darker instead of being that very obnoxious yellowish color. Okay, that's that. Come in, add new particle system. Bee Swarm 2. You'll see that it starts with a pre-generated particle system just kind of going up. Made a type data, mesh data. And so this creates these flat planes, and it kind of looks like crap because it's a cube. So we want a plane. Boom. That's our plane. On this plane, we want B's. Bloop. All it took was changing this. Now, one of the things you have to remember to do if you want your material is to override the material, unless you have it set in the mesh you're using. In this case, all I had to do was press override material, and now we have a stack of B's. A very, very large stack of B's. The spawn rate, I am upping to 1000, that way we have a lot of B's. Constant rate scale is staying at 1. In the mesh data, we're going to change face camera with roll. Actually, I want to see what that does before I change that. We are going to do camera facing options. Let's see. And we're going to set it to Z facing for velocity aligned. Yeah, okay, so that's why I did that, because it won't actually change if I don't. So we're going to come up to face with spin lock axis. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit better. Anyways, and camera facing. So as you can see, now that I press the camera facing, it will actually follow my camera to a degree. Which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see, apply particle rotation, and face camera direction. Hey, Ice Weasel! And let's see, so that's that. Then we come into lifetime, make sure it's at 1 and 1. The reason is we want them to rapidly be created, destroyed, over and over and over again. That's just for this case. You don't always want that. Initial velocity, I set to 5 maximum and 1 minimum. Velocity radial, I set to 5. I actually want to see... Ooh, that actually might be more interesting. Let's try this. I'm going to change the minimum distribution on the start velocity to -5 to see if it makes it more interesting when we do this. In world space. Okay. We actually don't need to change the color overlife. We want a point attractor, and that point attractor strength is going to be 1000, and the range is going to be 100. Position doesn't change because we want that to be right in the middle. Let's see, I don't think I changed anything else with this. Nope, okay. We're going to come in here and I need an orbit. And what orbit does is it allows it to kind of rotate around stuff. Not just be attracted to a point, but actually rotate around it. And we went with 50, 50, 50, and 20, 20, 20. We want to process during spawn so that it is not freaking out on update, because it freaks out really bad. Okay, rotation, we went with 50 max, minimum was 0. Let's see, also process during spawn. Rotation rate, I did not change. I'm going to go ahead and change the size now. So now, as you can see, it looks more like a proper bee swarm. And then we went with a location sphere. Oh man, that's actually IRTech. That's interesting. One of my first thoughts was if you've played Mortal Kombat X, using like Devora's poison spit thing, that as a bee, as like a bee bullet, if you will. Let's see. Going with the radius of 0.1. We're going with a velocity scale of 20 on the sphere. And I'm trying to think if I've changed anything else. Yeah. So since I did change that one thing, I want to put them next to each other and see which one looks better. Um, okay, so the one on the left looks more concise. This one looks slightly more random. Oh, and here we go with the puns. Knew it would happen one day. So I think I'm still going to use... Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this one. It looks more fun right now. Okay. Goodbye. So pretty much the only difference between the two was in this one, we used a velocity of 5 and -5 as opposed to just 5 and 0, I believe, or 5 and 1. Yeah. And I don't think I changed anything else. Anyways, okay, so we're going to go with it, because that is kind of just a really basic particle system. I threw this together in a couple hours originally. The only reason it only took me 15-20 minutes is because I already had the steps written down. I am not very good with particles, so this was very new to me. Okay, now, how do we make this worth a damn? It's not. I'm going to. It's not going to do specifically things in this one because this is our D&D project, and I haven't set up any like death stuff or anything like that for the player. But we can at least kind of test that it would work. So we're going to open up a blueprint class, and we want an actor and swarm. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this. So in blueprints, we can actually put particle systems just right in them, which is incredibly useful. And as you can see right here, Bee Swarm 2. So that's just, it's there. Put a box collision. We want to make sure that that is not that large. We want it to be right around the bee swarm. Then go ahead and drag a copy of this into the level. Boom. We now have a swarm of bees in a box. What are we going to do with this? Glad you asked. Okay. So on event begin play, we are actually going to disable tick. So I actually, until yesterday, did not know that you could enable and disable tick on actors. That was a new experience for me because I thought it just ran, and if you didn't use it, it didn't do anything. But if you wanted to use it at all, it just always ran. I did not know that you could turn it off. That's cool. Cast to third-person character. So we are checking to make sure that the actor we overlap is third-person character. And if it is, then we are going to enable tick. Okay? Now, end overlap. On end overlap, we are going to disable tick. That way it doesn't keep running afterwards. And on tick, we're going to have a simple print string. Do damage. So let's say you're in this is just something else I wanted to show. This is actually probably wouldn't be the most efficient system. I would probably use a timer as opposed to tick in this. But let's say random, let's go ahead and beef up our stats that we have set here. Finalize. And we ended up being a human druid. And as a human druid, we're walking through, and we got our spear here, because we could pick it up. Awesome. But we come across this, and we enter. Oh, there it goes. So now, if we enter this little bee swarm, we start taking damage. But if we leave it, we stop taking damage, and it stops printing string, in this case, because it stops ticking.